Yes, sir.
Thank you, Congressman. My name is Garrett Spain. I'm a senior here at Greenwood High School. In 2015, you co-sponsored a bill known as the USA Freedom Act. This essentially extended and modified the Patriot Act with some restrictions on FISA court abilities. But my question is regarding the future of this type of surveillance. Given the political climate of today in the Middle East, number one, do you feel like this sort of surveillance will need to revert back to the large-scale collection of this in order to protect our homeland from a potential terrorist attack by a foreign or domestic entity? And as a continuation of that question, do you feel that the government's responsibility of protecting its citizens requires them to do something that many deem unconstitutional according to the Fourth Amendment?
Well, you just put your finger on the seminal issue, which is both national security and privacy are of constitutional dimensions, right? They're both mentioned in specificity in our Constitution. So you're balancing your Fourth Amendment privacy expectations, privacy rights, with national security. You're not balancing privacy with something that's not in the Constitution. These are two constitutional precepts. I am a former prosecutor who greatly values law and order, and I think national security is the preeminent function of government. I am probably going to reconcile that balancing differently from other people, based on my background. If there's going to be an overcorrection, I am probably going to overcorrect towards national security. Why? You do have the freedom of speech. You do have the freedom to have government seek a warrant in most instances. And you do have the freedom of the jury trial. And you do have the right to counsel. And not a single one of those rights is of much use to you if you're dead. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Life, if you want to go back to the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, life is required for you to enjoy most of your other materials. So now, having said that, and I want to give a word of compliment to Senator Cotton. Senator Cotton stood on the floor of the House and defended this nation's right to protect itself, even during a time when it wasn't all that popular to do so. He has a unique background, both military, he's a lawyer, but he wanted to go in as an infantryman and not as a lawyer. And he's on the Senate Intel Committee right now. If you were on the House Intel Committee with me and Ricky Crawford, if you were on the Senate Intel Committee, Tommy Cotton, you would see that there are lots and lots of people who want to do you harm. And they want to do you harm not because they know you and you've offended them in some way. They want to do you harm because you are an American. So you want your government protecting you. The big threat to me, not the bulk data collection, nearly as much as FISA is an agreement that we're going to allow government to have certain powers, and in exchange for those powers, you are going to protect the privacy of U.S. citizens. And when I see things leaked on front pages of major newspapers that are supposed to remain classified and secret because they involve U.S. persons, that this agreement we made with government, that we will give you power, but you have to treat it responsibly and safeguard our privacy, that agreement is subject to being renegotiated. So, what I would recommend the Department of Justice is if you want Tom Cotton, Steve Womack, Ricky Crawford, French, Bruce, Senator Pelosi, you want us to defend the reauthorization programs, take the leaks seriously and do something about them. It's a felony to disseminate classified information, and I'd like to see the leaks taken just as seriously as the last question of the right to privacy. Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. Stop listening to the haters. That's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. Remember all this?
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
A lot of people have no idea that Trump is headed for a historic defeat.
Even if Donald Trump did win all of the toss-up states, he would still lose.
I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right?
The so-called political pros lost their credibility last year. So why do we keep listening to them this year? Everything the establishment says about Trump turns out to be wrong. Let's take a trip down memory lane.
In the event Donald wins, I have no doubt in my mind the market tanks.
Oh, Mark, buddy, I hate to do this, but let's play it again.
In the event Donald wins, I have no doubt in my mind the market tanks.
How could the first billionaire business mogul president tank the market? The Trump bumps juiced the stock market to historic highs. Speaking of tank,
let me tell you what I did.
So not only was Trump going to destroy the economy, he couldn't even get anything passed through Congress, remember?
This is a test for President Trump's legislative abilities in terms of being able to fashion legislation as he has promised. And he's got big items coming up, tax reform being one. But it looks like he can't deliver.
I don't think they're going to be able to get a consensus together to get tax reform done.
He is a powerless president.
Does a powerless president deliver a $1.5 trillion tax cut to families and businesses? Repeal the Obamacare mandate? And finally begin drilling in Anwar? And one of the most irritating things to listen to is pundits claiming cutting corporate tax rates wasn't going to help workers.
This is just a matter of fact. When corporations get tax cuts like these in this economy, they buy back stock.
They very well may buy back stock, but Comcast, which owns MSNBC, announced as a result of the tax cut, it would give special $1,000 bonuses to more than 100,000 of its employees. I'm sure the staff of Morning Joe could use that money around the holidays. And AT&T also promised $1,000 bonuses. Wells Fargo promised to hike its minimum wage to $15 an hour. And Boeing promised to spend $300 million on employees.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Finally, Trump's ISIS strategy. Crooked Hillary didn't think too much of it.
Donald's been all over the place on ISIS. Sometimes he says he won't tell anyone what he'll do because he wants to keep his plan, quote, secret. And then it turns out the secret is he has no plan.
I remember what part of the plan was.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of him. It's true. I don't care. I don't care.
And people from all stripes didn't think it would work.
It's interesting to hear some people, they run for president, they talk tough. We're going to carpet bomb ISIS. We're going to make the sand in the Middle East glow in the dark. Well, you can't carpet bomb ISIS if you don't know where they are.
And CNN said destroying ISIS in Iraq would take a generation.
This is something that's going to go on for a very long time. This is a generational threat. You just don't say beat it in 30 days because it's frankly insulting to the individuals who've been attempting to put all their strength on the line to defeat it over the last 16 years.
It didn't take a generation. It took a year. ISIS has been driven from the battlefield in Iraq and holds no territory there anymore. You don't believe me? Even the New York Times op-ed page was forced to admit it. Columnist Ross Douthat, writing in a piece titled "A War Trump Won," quote, "If you had told me in late 2016 that almost a year into the Trump era, the caliphate would be all but beaten without something far worse happening in the Middle East, I would have been surprised and gratified. So very provisionally, credit belongs where it's due. To our soldiers and diplomats, yes, but to our president as well." So, when you're around the dinner table this Christmas and your left-wing cousin starts popping off, bring these examples up. If he or she doesn't listen, pour them a little more wine. Why should we believe anything the haters and the pros say about Trump when they've been proven wrong 2 years in a row? The answer is you shouldn't. If your local weatherman keeps telling you it's going to be sunny, but it always rains, that's fake weather. So find a new weatherman on a different channel. The same goes for fake news. It's time to start thinking for yourself and trusting people with proven track records, like me.